Find us on YouTube. Go find us there.
Okay.
So, what's your problem today?
No, I'm good. Do I have a problem?
We were talking about Len today on the air at the end
Yeah.
of the show. Usually I never try to get Len on the show. I got a meet.
He's always busy.
Right, I'm in a meet. I can't talk. And he was listening to us at like 8:45. And so we started
my
talking
goodness.
junk. We didn't know he was listening. Oh man, he texted, "Why are you always talking junk?"
Callie's daughter Molly is on. Hey Molly, you are 2 years old. Mwah. You are
Hi,
Team
Molly.
Jannelle. She's Team Jannelle.
Hi Molly, Brian's your favorite. Yay.
Rob says, Happy Friday, everyone. And then he says, just being positive like Jannelle. It's almost Friday. Woo!
So you're liars.
Listen, it's like the top of a slide. This is Wednesday. And then we slide and then we get to Friday. It's fun. It's like super fun.
It's not at all. It's Wednesday. It's
Hi,
Wednesday.
Tiffany. Hi, Callie. Hi, Sherry. If you're on YouTube, we see you. I see you. You can comment and join the conversation. Oh, hey, Siri. Yeah, look. Thought I was saying Siri. She was talking. All right, go.
So Barna
Yes.
did some research about media-stressed parents. And they have this long thing, all these charts and graphs and words. But I like pictures. So I looked at this chart.
Yeah, you skip all the reading. You just look
And-
at the chart.
It showed the results when they asked engaged
I can't see
parents,
that.
engaged Christian parents. So people identify as Christian, they're really engaged in their kids' lives, to rank the issues that are among their top struggles when it comes to guiding their children's spiritual formation. So you've got mature Christians or like Christian people engaged in their kids' lives. What are their big struggles when guiding their children's faith? Okay?
Okay.
Options they could have chosen from were things like busyness, video games, peer influence, family struggle, social media, internet searches for inappropriate material, digital content, all that stuff. We've been over number 1 and number 2 if you're listening to the live show. Number 1 was peer influence. It's the greatest struggle. 35% of parents said that was their number 1,
And
or
I-
at least one of their top 3 issues.
And I like what you said, that that's a timeless issue.
Do you
It's
think
been
so?
around. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Did
peer
you have
influence.
friends? That your parents
Did I have friends? Well,
that your parents didn't
depends on
want you
what
to
you mean
hang
by
with?
friends.
That your parents didn't want you to hang with.
I had friends that I think they preferred over others, but
Yeah.
I was around a pretty good group of guys.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But you did say,
You had
yeah,
a problem, of course.
I dated a drug dealer for like 3 months. I didn't know. But my girlfriends...
She didn't know why the dude kept having cars pull over.
No, actually, he always came to my house on a
She
bike.
didn't know why he had
Bike.
a whole bunch of like money in a big wad.
Oh my gosh. But overall, I didn't have bad influence. But I agree. Like when mommy tells me about when she was younger, like that's a forever thing. You know, bad influence. The Bible talks about it. Bad company corrupts good character. I think that's been a thing with younger generations. But
Someone's
you
at the door.
said number 1, number
See
2.
that white light back there? Let me show you this. That white light, just for fun. You see it right by Jannelle's head? There we go. That is a sign that the doorbell ring. Why is the doorbell ringing?
We have.
Oh, we have a guest.
Family member coming. Yeah.
Does somebody? I forgot. I thought like Ron was stuck outside.
Like,
Is someone getting the door?
I think Ron is. Maybe. Do you want me to go check?
Yeah, you might as well check.
Okay.
Somebody's stopping by to visit the show. and I
Hey,
totally
Mary,
forgot.
Theola, Amora. Okay, go.
So anyway, peer influence number 1. Number 2 on the list of the greatest struggles that engaged Christian parents have in helping their kids form their faith. Number 2 is digital content. Like
That's
things
definitely
they're
not
watching and
timeless.
listening to online.
Yeah.
It's not that they're worried about inappropriate material like pornography or something. They're worried about just digital content in general. What do you agree with that?
Yeah. That's that would be top of the list for me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you see it pop up? I've seen it on like Snapchat and stuff where I didn't think that was a place where you get bad spiritual information, but it is.
Oh, spiritual. Oh, yeah.
So remember, this is their biggest stress for spiritual formation for their kids.
Oh, Yeah, not so much the content, more the distraction.
Oh, I
You
see.
know, yeah, it's more distraction. So where before they would have spent more time, it's been a shift because even when my boys were younger, I had more of a control. Like we didn't even have a TV, we had no cable. You know, now things are changing. So now they're distracted where they would have spent more time doing things that would form them spiritually, even being more engaged with the family, with things that like read out louds. Now there's choices and they're more distracted. That's where it on top of course there's the content, but I haven't seen that as a issue yet.
Number 3, big struggle for Christian parents, coming in at 30%, video games.
You that one surprised you. Why?
It's a big issue in guiding their children's spiritual formation.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
It must be an issue of distraction.
I think so. Like time.
Because I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's worried about bad theology in video games because it's fantasy, and we know it is, and kids know it is.
Yeah.
Number 4, busyness in general as a family.
So you see, I don't think it's the actual thing. I think it's that it keeps us away from certain.
Could be,
Because busyness is the same thing.
but peer influence isn't a time issue. So not all of them are that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So 4 is busyness, 5 is social media, which is way lower than I expected, way lower. 6 is family struggles, and 7, the lowest ranked thing, was searches for
What?
inappropriate content on the internet.
That one surprises me.
I'm surprised by that too, because whenever I talk to like college professor age or people who work with college age students, one of the biggest problems they hear from kids is that Christian kids is that they're addicted to pornography. So just because it's a parent worry doesn't mean it's the right priorities of worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are your reactions to this?
Daniel, she says, I love you guys. Brian and
Danielle?
Jannelle. Danielle. Angie, good morning. Sue says, good morning. Callie says, I'm trying to keep my 3 children in a bubble as long as possible. I have let down my guard on some stuff, but still want to keep them as pure and safe as possible.
I get that desire. There's a point though at which, especially with digital technology, that once you open the gate, it's difficult to close it again.
Yeah.
Like, and I know it sounds crazy, but if you just give your kid access to YouTube, which there's a lot of really great kid stuff on there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to restrict content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Once you give them access to a web browser. And there's good reasons to do it as they get older. School research, a lot of times YouTube is used to watch videos for class. Like, there's good reasons to have to open those up early.
Yeah. Angie says, yes, when my kids were younger, we had more control on whatever they listened to. Our social media was Adventures in Odyssey. And my experience has been it was easy to control my boys. But once you have teens in the house, you know, and you let go, put your guard down a little bit, it affects the little ones. You know?
Yeah.
It has elevated my conversations with Raina. But like so far, and some of the things I'm thinking about, it's okay. Like we've talked about homosexuality, even with the boys starting early on. But with Raina, it's become more and more of not a need, more and more of an engagement. Because now, and maybe because times are different, even 10 years ago. But like I told you some months ago when we went to Cedar Point last year and things she saw. You know, so I don't know if the guarding and protecting is as beneficial. Like, I'm okay with handling some things with my younger ones because I have more experience. And I'm like, I think it's good. I don't need to protect you guys. I don't like the struggle, like how it opens up. Even Len says, man, he tells the boys, y'all didn't have to, y'all weren't exposed to all this when you guys were little. And it's not cool.
Yeah.
But then they're teens. So what are we going to tell them?
Yeah, our kids in particular represent a really odd place technologically because I'm sure it's this way with your older kids. My oldest daughter, all the pictures we had of her were in a digital camera.
Yeah.
Like, cameras on your phone was not a thing.
No.
It was not a thing even, I think, when my second child was born.
We were still going to CVS, like I remember.
And so, like,
Yeah.
a smartphone was so new that really these ideas are only recently impacting like half of our kids.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, access to these things it's very new.
Even there's a guy. I want to welcome Jolie. Woo!
Jolie, what's Jolie doing?
My first time on time.
Hey.
Woke up just to listen to you. I learned so much from listening to you, Brian and Jannelle.
You're not going to visit her?
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, let's go to your page. Jolie Gaga. Oh my goodness, your boys. No, that's a boy. Oh, your babies. Oh, it's a boy and a girl. So
Aww.
cute. And your little girl is adorable.
Wait, she's from Rwanda.
Hey.
How cool is that?
She lives in Eastlake. Oh, your kids are
I feel
gorgeous.
like Rwanda's way more interesting than DR.
DR, Dominican Republic.
I feel like Rwanda totally trumps
Probably.
DR in terms of
Or
interest.
Reese and Holy Living. What's up on YouTube? So what I was gonna say is with the kids. When the boys at that age were interested in like Blue's Clues, a lot of the kids shows, do you see that your kids kind of skip that? Like Raina watches Corey Kenshin with the boys. It's this guy playing video games, and he's Christian. It's not like a Christian show. It's good. We've seen it, but it skips her age. Like that's more of a teen thing, and it breaks my heart. I don't know if it should. What were you gonna say?
Well, no, my older kids spent a lot of time on Disney Channel and like Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
My little boys never have liked those things.
Isn't that sad?
They like stupid stuff for their age group on YouTube.
Oh, so they're not caught up into their siblings. What their siblings
Not as
are.
much. No, they like the older kids think the stuff my kids watch on YouTube. The younger kids watch on YouTube is stupid, and vice versa. But like they're not interested in like the little like, cartoon shows or the plot.
Yes.
They want to watch some dude play with his little boy and play a video game.
Raina does that too. That's kind of sad. Sarah says, Jannelle, yes, I have had to be so much more vigilant with my daughter than with her older brothers. Also, we have so many personal devices now that we didn't have 10 years ago when my oldest was 11.
Yeah.
Daniel says, my daughter is 17 and she still gives me her passwords because that's the accountability for her. She has no desire for Facebook, Snapchat. She says that it's distracting. She says that she has to stay focused. Wow, that's good, Danielle.
No, that's really good.
Really, really good.
Yeah, that's really good. My older kids really only spend time on Snapchat and TikTok. That's it. And really, TikTok has taken over.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like Snapchat's not that cool anymore.
Isn't that crazy how quickly it changes?
It's all about TikTok.
It is all about TikTok. I like what Deborah's saying, bubbling, or I think she's saying, like putting a bubble around your kids can backfire. It's better to let them learn things while you're there to talk about things and for you to see who they are. One of the conversations I had with my dear, awesome friend, Dr. Julie Slattery, is about parenting a young adult. My 17-year-old's about to be 18, and so kind of just learning from her. And she was telling me, I don't check his phone anymore, but I can, because, Len's his dad. So Len's like, if you on my bill, I check whenever I want to. So we can, but we just don't, and he's making good decisions. But she told me one good thing to do is to teach him to have someone that he's held accountable to, like another adult or just something, because she says everyone should have accountability. So whether it's through an app or anything like that, teaching him to seek out accountability. So Deborah, I like what you say about we don't want to overprotect and teach them how to live with the technology. And that was a good advice from Julie. Mike says, my gang are adults now, but it was hard. We didn't allow screens in their bedrooms for a long time. We had a big computer in the kitchen for years. No private viewing. I told my oldest one day, WWW stands for World Wide Web. The world doesn't care about your soul. I do. We worked hard, but it's only gotten tougher. I'm glad my kids are adults now. Parents need an example of holy leadership. That is where it starts, and it's the most important.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Mike is with Scranton Road Promotional Marketing, so talk to him if you're looking to figure out your promotional needs. It is amazing, though, how quickly it's changed. Like when I was a kid, the family computer was in the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
I get it.
And now there is no desktop in my house.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
it's
if you have a
pointless.
desktop. It's like laptops.
Yeah, they're actually Chromebooks are more
Yeah,
common.
Chromebooks.
And my kids are assigned their own Chromebook for school. In
Yeah.
fact, my third grader brings home his own Chromebook to use for school.
Yeah.
Now, it has a lot of restrictions on it,
Yeah.
but life has changed dramatically since those
Even-
days.
One of my mentors, who's way older than us, she was like, I don't even know how you guys are doing it. Like, you know how we want to say, what is challenges in parenting all the time? She was like, this is way past what we ever had to deal with. And even we've observed in the last 20 years, like, no, forget 20, 2008 when the iPhone came out. Life has changed. I know a counselor that works in the school system, and she said she's noticed how parenting has changed because of smartphones. For example, we're not the authority anymore. Like, we are. Len's the authority in his house. But we're not the only authority. They can always check Google, or they have other influencers. The dynamic has changed in the house and in terms of how they view adults and how they view the church, because they can go to several sources now.
No, it's absolutely true. Because when we were kids, it was either have mom take you to the library
Yeah.
or consult the encyclopedia.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Did you have a set at home?
We did.
So
Yeah.
did we. We had an old set
Yeah.
because we're not buying a new one.
Remember how expensive
Oh, that
they
was crazy.
were?
But yeah, no, they can get whatever information they want whenever they want it, let alone the complexities of people talk about no screens in the room, right? I get that. I don't want, my kids are not going to have TVs in their bedroom. But you got kids homeschooling,
Yeah.
you got 6 kids. Somebody's got to be in their room if they need something quiet.
Yeah. The older kids, they go in their rooms to get their work done.
So they have a computer
They have a computer.
in their room.
Yeah.
Now, again, what choice does Jannelle have? Because some people legitimately need quiet. They
Yeah.
legitimately need quiet. So,
Angie says, wow, I never thought of it like that. Parents are being fact checked. They are. I mean, we got Google in the house. They'll straight up be like, even when I'm homeschooling, if I say something, they'll be like, hey, Google. And then ask Google the question. If I called you Google, I'm sorry. It's a different dynamic. Mike says, your shirt looks fly, Brian. I may have to commit to your team soon.
obviously, you're going to commit to this team, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the swag. I don't know what she's doing.
Callie says, my 10-year-old son has a phone and we have parental controls on there. He's not allowed to download any apps without our permission. And if he tries to download it, my husband will get a notification saying he's trying to download something.
I have that same thing set up. But again, you're faced with, at 10, he's a year or two maybe away from all of his friends having TikTok and being on TikTok. And do you remember what it was like in school to be the only one who didn't know something? You remember what that was like?
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh
Like, I bet you watched some, like, English television shows so you could be part of the I was a kid. In middle school, everybody talked on Monday about what was on Saturday Night Live on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so I watched it partly because I wanted to watch it, but
Yeah.
partly so I could be part of the discussion. So you will reach a point where everybody in the class is doing it. And if you keep it from your kid, deeper conversation,
Yeah.
they won't be in
The
part of the
in
group
crowd.
at all. Forget the
Yeah.
in crowd, part of any crowd.
Yeah.
And so it gets much more complicated.
Kim says she loves me, but she's Team Bryant.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's what I'm
That's
talking about.
awesome, Kim. Sarah says, and as a side note, 16-year-olds should not be allowed to vote. 16 is the legal voting age here in Ecuador, and kids mostly just vote whatever their parents think.
That's right.
I see it as a way to rack up more votes for whatever is popular. Wow, that's deep. Callie says TikTok is absolutely disgusting nowadays.
Some of it is, yeah. But that's the hard part, is if you say that to your kids, it's not always true. It's like saying the internet's disgusting. Well, it is.
I've seen some stuff on Facebook where I'm like, what the heck? This happened on Facebook? And it reminds me of something my son Elijah said. I checked their phones and I did all that, and I was conversing with him about TikTok. And he was like, I don't know what kind of kids you're talking to. Like, he's like, you get from TikTok what you want. Like, he was telling me how it's like a lot of apps where you put your interests. So like Elijah's into comedy, so he'll put he likes comedy videos, whatever, and he's just like, you get what you want, which is TV was like that. Like you said, Facebook is like that.
And there's a lot
The
of
internet, and it's still something you got to watch. I'm just saying, it's not all TikTok's not all messed up.
no.
You were gonna say there's a lot of what?
Well, with like little girls, there's a lot of cute little dances everybody does.
Yeah.
Everyone
yeah.
learns TikTok dances.
Yeah,
So.
but being engaged is important, Callie. I agree. Tiffany says, I'm not a parent in the traditional sense, but I am an educator. Watching children have smartphones and such versus those who don't, you can tell the difference. Smartphones simply expose kids to much more, and we really don't have that much control because they'll go to their friends when we try to stop it. When you have blocker sites in place, they will still find ways around it. I have my fourth graders become ridiculous amateur coders and get around the school system because they block YouTube. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. This is where, again, there's a clear argument against even relying on restrictions and blockers because, no joke, even fourth graders can figure out how to get around it. They just got to look up on YouTube how to get around it.
Yeah.
And someone will show them how to do it.
Yeah. And I had a friend years ago whose 13-year-old son she had all of the restrictions in her house. All he did was go outside, play with his friend, and was exposed to pornography on his friend's cell phone.
Oh, sure. How did you watch R-rated movies?
Either when my parents were home, or we just did, or over a friend's house.
Yeah, I watched them at my friend's house. I wasn't allowed to watch them, though.
It would be like scary movies. It would be just stuff like that.
And so it's not new, it's just more complicated.
It's more complicated, which is why I am very much in the sense of, instead of rules, teaching our kids to have good judgment, to be wise in terms of why we don't want to do what we want to do, and protecting our eyes and ears, which is another form of helping them navigate life, preparing them for life, right? Because, rules, all you got to do is turn 18, go, and then you do whatever you want to, versus really capturing their hearts and helping them think in a godly way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I remember when one of my kids entered 6th grade. Parents were kind of freaking out in the back to school meeting about phones. And the principal was like, listen, it's part of education now. Your kids are going to tell you everybody has a phone because they do. And we use it in the classroom. Now, your kid doesn't have to have a phone. And they can just tell the teacher for an alternative. And suddenly we realized that, it's normative to have your kid have it in 6th grade.
My oldest son, for a long time, he had no cell phone. And he was lonely, like he would tell us. And he was still in the swim team and involved. But he was like, when I go to the swim team practices, which were every day for hours, he's like, I feel disconnected. It was like a light switch once you got a cell phone. And he's like, they go on Group Me or whatever that app is in terms of group talk, group chat. He's like, when they got together, when they were forming little like challenges, it was happening and I didn't even know because I would see them in person. Now, obviously, the coach now communicates through there. It's like you said, it's almost not an option anymore.
And that's why, like 80s and 90s parenting in particular, if you thought that was complicated, that is nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. That's like, that'd be so easy if we just had one device in the house.
Yeah.
And now even TVs are so cheap.
Yeah.
And everyone binge watches and streams, no one watches live TV. So the idea of let's all gather around and watch this together, it's just not how life works anymore.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that. I thought there was something wrong with our family.
No.
Because we went more than a decade with no TV. So because we don't do that as much, we have a few things we watch with the kids. I thought, dang, they lose the habit. Are we missing out? Like, our other families sitting together like we used to when I was little. I thought it was us.
Well, remember, like when I was a kid, we had 2 TVs. We had the main TV and the black and white up in the kitchen. And in the evenings, you didn't have that many choices. We had cable, but we would, as a family, sit down and what mom and dad wanted to watch, we'd watch with them. That's just not how it works now.
Yeah, yeah.
On your Chromebook, on your smartphone, on your tablet, on one of your TVs that are cheaper than buying, hardly anything anymore. It's binge watching and it's streaming on demand. So I don't have to watch this with you.
Yeah.
I could watch this, I could watch that, I could watch this, I could watch that.
Yeah.
The idea that everyone has to like the same show, it's not a thing anymore.
That's crazy. Mike says, do the best private schools allow kids to have phones in class?
I have no idea, Mike.
Even public schools, I mean, they have rules about cell phones in class. That's different to they use cell phones to communicate, and the team sports use the cell phones to communicate. That's different.
Yeah, we had lots of rules. Like you couldn't have cell phones when I was teaching, but kids still had them in their pocket, and they'd still sneak it under the desk. You couldn't cheat on tests for I don't know how many hundreds of years, and people still did it.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to make out in the hallway, and kids did it.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to skip class, and kids did it.
Yeah.
So, and in this case, when you have one-to-one technology with like Chromebooks, for example, in lots of schools, why would you restrict the cell phone? What's the point?
Yeah.
If you want the one-to-one tech for Google Classroom and all these modern things that we now need because of the pandemic, what would be the point of restricting phone use?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, the conversation continues. If you have any tips or anything that's worked for you, continue. People read. I go back and read. And subscribe if you haven't on YouTube.